Hello people, today I'm doing a review of Spider-Man No Way Home. I can't believe I'm actually sitting here talking about this movie right now. Like, this movie just kind of snuck up on me. Like, I knew it was coming out, obviously, but it just kind of, like, oh crap, I'm seeing it today? So, yeah. Anyways, I was more so skeptical more than excited going into this movie. And of course, I knew the reviews were glowing, but it's just as of the last couple Marvel movies, but minus Eternals, there's been glowing reviews for movies I liked. It's just particularly Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi got raving reviews, and while I liked the movie quite a bit, I felt rather I didn't think it was that good. So when I saw glowing reviews for this movie, I was just kind of like, look at Shang-Chi. I liked the movie quite a bit, but I didn't think it was like that good as like a lot of people were saying. And so the fact that, the last couple of years of Marvel I've liked but haven't loved, and this movie is the first movie I've loved out of the MCU in quite a long time, it's just so relieving. And this is, I'm going to say, it's my new favorite MCU movie. And I really don't like being that person just to immediately jump on, this is the best one train, because I'm not known for doing that. Like, when I saw Civil War back in 2016, back then I said that's my favorite MCU movie, and it hasn't changed since, up until now. So what I'm saying overall is, this is my new favorite MCU movie up until the point I see a new one I like more. And will that happen? I don't know, because this movie just impressed me in almost every way. Like, when it comes to the action, Tom Holland's performance, when it comes to the writing of Peter Parker's character, it just hit every right note you want out of a Spider-Man movie. And that's like the biggest praise I wanted to give this movie, and it is the biggest praise I'm giving it, because it's a story that just doesn't want to scream, oh, look at these, it's not a movie that screams, oh, look at these villains from other movies. It's a movie that screams, this is Spider-Man's movie. And I was just so happy to see that. Another thing I'm very happy about, Zendaya's MJ gets a little bit more to do here in this movie. She gets a little bit more development. You get to learn more about her and Peter's relationship. And from a character perspective, it gave me almost everything I wanted. And for a Spider-Man movie, character is a big part about that. And of course, it's a comic book movie. You're going to have a thing called plot. And so the plot here was very, very unique. And there's some little choices I'm like, I guess, but that's just me nitpicking. I have to say, I want to give this movie a little nitpick just to show you, like, to reflect how good the movie is in contrast. Like, another little nitpick is I don't like a specific technical film choice they make for 2 seconds towards the end of the third act. That's it for complaints. I thought the plot was a little device centered, but really not that much. I'm not saying the driving force of the story is based off like how they eat at the classes. This movie's nothing like that. It's all character driven. That's what I loved. But what I'm saying is, like, there's a little thing or two I'm like, oh, you didn't have to do that, but I'm nitpicking. I'm nitpicking, and I shouldn't be, because I love this movie. It's my favorite MCU movie right as of now. Well, yeah, that's what I'm curious about mostly. Will this be beat? Will this be beat? Because this movie was so good to the level I'm like, can it be beat? So, yeah. Well, this movie has some promising setups towards the end, and that's the most I'll say about that. Yeah, the action in this movie. This movie definitely has maybe my favorite Spider-Man action sequence. And I'll just say, there's people out there like, oh, there's the second half of the movie and then there's the first half of the movie. And while I agree with it, I don't think the first half of this movie is bad at all. I still think, like, the first half of this movie is really good. I think the style of the movie was really shown. Like, maybe it's John Watts. Maybe it was just the score, but for the first, I don't know, like 20 minutes, I was like, I'm gonna get some style and its feel to this movie. And yeah, of course, once we get to like that connecting between the first and second act, things felt maybe just a tad bit snip snappy, but it didn't bother me. It's only like if you're looking for negatives, and yeah, because like the second half is undeniably the superior half. I don't want to be like one of those people that says that, because the first half is still great, I think. Um I'll just say, I don't remember, there's this sequence towards the beginning, and I think it's a one take. It looks like a one take, but you'll know what I mean. It has some comedy, it has some, it's not an action sequence, but there's this one take that I just absolutely love. And I'll just say it's in Peter and May's apartment, and it's a one take, and you'll probably recognize it once you see it. It had me cracking up, and it just had me impressed on like a filmmaking standpoint that they'll do something that bold in a MCU movie, like when it comes to filmmaking. And that's there you go. But like I said, action in this movie blew my mind, because we have a great this movie is a great example of how I think Marvel comedy should be. Because the type of Marvel comedy I don't like is an action sequence where I don't feel much tension, and all of a sudden they're cracking jokes. And the only time I find jokes useful in the middle of an action sequence is just if something is getting so heavy, you need like a quick breather. And like in a lot of Marvel movies, things don't get heavy enough for me to need a quick breather like that. This movie definitely got so heavy in a action sequence. Every punch, like, just you felt it. So when they crack a joke, you're like, okay, just I need that lighten up for a second. And another good example of that is like with how they use comedy in No Time to Die. Like the last sequence of No Time to Die was so tense up when he makes a slight joke. I'm like, okay, let's just keep going through this. And that's just like the fact that they crafted these action sequences to the level that they did is just so exciting that we finally got something like this in the MCU. And this movie just makes me excited overall for like the fact that they pulled this movie off with its big ideas, the choices that they make. There's some really bold choices, and it's not the things. My favorite things about this movie are not the things I expected it to be going into it. And I really can't discuss that, but my favorite elements is basically just the Peter Parker storyline, the personal journey that all these characters go through, and it's just so satisfying. And I just adored this movie, and I'm not going to hold back, because I don't care. I'm not going to hold back on a movie where I feel this strongly about it already. And I got home and I thought about this movie for 3-4 hours. I could have watched the movie again. I got home and did almost nothing but think about it. And that's a huge praise on my end, because like I did not think this heavily about Eternals or Shang-Chi or Black Widow or Far From Home, or maybe not even think about Endgame this much. And like I said, the only other MCU movie that once I got home, I just sat there and thought about it for a while, is Civil War. And like I said, I think I like this movie more. I love this movie. I am blown away that this movie pulled off what it did. And I'll just say that I'm sure the people that know me personally are going to be kind of shocked by how I react to this movie. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to give Spider-Man No Way Home a 9.8 out of 10. Yeah, I love the movie. Easily my favorite Spider-Man movie, and I'm a Raimi guy. I love my Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and I did not expect for this to be... I didn't expect for me to like this more than I did Spider-Man 2. So yeah, anyways, comment down below what you guys thought of Spider-Man No Way Home. No spoilers, obviously, so yeah. Anyways, like, share, subscribe, and stuff like that, and adios.